Hello everyone, welcome back to Ramon at Home. I am so excited you're here today because in today's video I'm going to share with you 5 of the best spring decorating ideas and DIYs for 2024. You guys, can you believe it's a new year? Happy New Year's, by the way. I'm so excited to be here in a brand new year with brand new decorating ideas, tips, tricks, and hacks for your decorating in 2024. This year is going to be the best one yet. I have already decided that this is the year when I'm finally going to surrender to the higher force above, which I call God, to guide me in order to teach you, to entertain you, to inspire you, and to encourage you in 2024. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 beautiful spring DIYs and decorating ideas for your home. We're gonna start this year right away with some beautiful DIYs. So if you are interested in decorating ideas, DIYs, tips, tricks, and hacks on how to decorate your home throughout the year, be sure to stay tuned. If you are new to this channel, well, welcome. I wanna say thank you for being here, and I really hope that you consider subscribing. And for all of you who are already subscribed, don't forget to turn the notification bell on because you will not want to miss what's coming up for 2024 here at Ramon at Home. All right, you guys, well, I'm gonna take you to the studio and we're going to look back at one of the most beautiful and easy spring wreath DIYs ideas for your home. Let's take a look. So I chose these wreaths, and then also I chose a selection of beautiful Easter and spring ribbons that tie in with a theme. And this orange, look how beautiful this one with the carrots is, and then there is one right here with the bunny and the carrots, and all of this is from the 99-cent only store. But of course you can use any ribbons that you like, that you have, or that you can find at any of your craft stores. This is just an idea I'm giving you. Also, I'm gonna use my wire cutters, my scissors that I always have it ready, and then I'm gonna use some wire that I already pre-taped with our florist tape. You guys know that those are the tools that I always use for my crafting. All right, so let's get started. The very first thing I'm going to do is going to attach these 2 wreaths, and I want them to be about yay. You probably won't see the bottom of it, but that's okay because most of it is gonna happen on the top anyway. But for that, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna use some of this beautiful orange ribbon. And I love this orange. It's kind of like a carrot orange, and it's so beautiful. I am obsessed with it, and it is kind of like a burlap material. So I'm gonna cut about this much, probably about 2 feet of it, because what I want to do is I'm going to attach these guys together. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm gonna go through here, kind of let it tie like this. Then I'm gonna go through here. And what I want to do is I'm gonna glue this together so they hang like this. So I'm gonna put my hot glue gun to warm up, and I'll be right back with you. Keep watching. All right, so the first thing I did is I went ahead and added a few dabs of glue to this strip of ribbon, and then I put the glue to the back of it so that way you don't see it and it looks clean. But now what we're going to do is a beautiful bow for this, and I want the bow to really make a statement and just let the greenery be my kind of focal point. But what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my orange ribbon, and I want some longer tail, so I'm just gonna drop it on the floor. You guys know that I always like to do that. And I'm gonna start with a dovetail. Now this ribbon is such a good quality ribbon for only, I think I only pay 99 cents per bolt, and it is 3 yards for 99 cents, so that's not bad. So I want my loops to be really long, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna pinch right here, and then I want this to be really floppy. But you know what? What really does make a good ribbon is the wire. If you find any ribbons anywhere that has a good wire, it really doesn't matter how much you pay for it, because what matters is that it has a good wire, so it kind of stands out to your wreath. So I'm gonna do a 3-loop bow like that. Then I'm going to introduce this one right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and drop it on the floor as well. And I'm gonna also do a loop, but you know what? For this, the bunnies need to go up, because when you flip over, that's when you see the bunnies, as you guys can see. And this is such a cute ribbon. Now this one, the wire is not as sturdy, so what you need to do is make smaller loops. So I'm gonna do 2. I'm gonna do another one right here, and flip that ribbon so that your bunnies are facing up like this. And I also want a longer tail, so maybe I'm gonna do another loop, smaller loop, and then we'll do the tail for it. And look, you guys, how easy it really is to make a beautiful bow for your door. like this. So now we have two of those colors that I want. And for this, you know what, I need to do that last one. Don't be afraid to do and undo your bows, you guys, because it really is all about finessing. And so as you can see, this is turning out so cute. And remember, I want some longer tails because I want the bow to be the statement on this piece right here. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna introduce the third one, and this is more like a satin. I'm gonna drop it on the floor. And making sure that you have everything like this. What you need to do is you need to tie all together. You could also use a zip tie. You guys know that we here at Ramon at home like to use the zip ties. But for this particular instance, I'm just gonna go like this because I'm gonna use the same wire to attach my bow. And look how cute that is. So I'm gonna attach now, right here on the top. I want to be the very top, and I wanna go through all of my greeneries like this. I'm gonna go back up, out, and with the same wire, I'm gonna attach really tight, but then with the same wire that I have left over, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a loop to hang from the door. All right, everyone, so here is the end result on this beautiful spring wreath, and as you guys can see, it's a dual wreath that goes all the way down the door, and it just looks so beautiful. I love the bow because it really makes a statement. As you guys can see, the pattern on the ribbon with the bunnies matches the other ribbon with the carrots, and it is just perfect for spring and Easter. But you can also replace that bow with another type of ribbon, and you have yourself a beautiful statement on your door all throughout summer if you like in the side. But I really hope that this was helpful to you and that you like this. Remember, just follow the instructions on how to create this beautiful wreath for your front door, and you too can have a gorgeous wreath in your door. Now, I told you that would be a super easy wreath DIY idea, and I know that you can do it. I hope you give it a try. Now, before I continue with the next spring DIY for 2024, I want to take a second to thank you guys so much for all of the sweet comments you left on my last live video. Remember, I told you that this past Christmas season was a really tough one for me because Christmas is what I've done for the past 12 years in my life, but this year was so hard with so much going on in my family and Jamison's family, with people sick with cancer, with things going on in our family. So it was really hard to get all the way to the finish line. And when I recorded that home tour, I remember that I was in a really deep depression, you guys. But I am back, and I am so good to be here, and I'm so thankful that you're here leaving me all of those sweet comments. Believe it or not, I read every single one of them, and I thank every single one of you that left those comments that were really uplifting and encouraging. And just so you know, I do believe that we can encourage each other by saying nice things, and that is the best way that we can serve humanity, by being kind to one another. So I really want to encourage you this year in 2024 to just be kind to one another, because you never know what the next person next to you is carrying. The burden and the load was really heavy for me, but now, thank God, through prayer and meditation and through some of your beautiful comments, I'm on the other side of it, and I'm so ready to have the best year yet. I know it's going to be. All right, you guys, now I'm going to take you back into the studio, and I'm gonna share with you how to create a beautiful character centerpiece and a beautiful tablescape. Let's take a look. All right, you guys, so the first thing you know I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my frog, and I kind of want to decide where I want it. And so do I want to cut a corner? Do I want it? I think I want it straightforward, kind of sideways like this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab something with a point, and I'm kind of gonna draw where my frog is, so that way I know where not to poke greeneries, so that way it's not on the way. You kind of draw a figure of your item, whether it's a candle, so that way you know where you're not gonna poke any greenery. So I'm gonna put her to the side. Let's name her. I think I'm gonna call her Lilith, because I love that name. It's elegant and it's just cute. All right, so now I'm gonna grab my wire cutters, and you guys know this, that what happens on the left happens on the right, and what goes up must come down. And so if you have not seen any of the centerpiece videos that I've done, I'm gonna put some of them down below. But for this particular purpose, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward so we can save you some time. And you know that I like to add at least 3 to 4 greeneries. So I have some monstera, some boxwood, and then also some palm. So I'm going to get to greening, and I'll be right back with you to give you a next instruction. So keep watching. All right, so now that we have greened all of our centerpiece, and I'm gonna share with you real quick how it looks all the way around. Remember, 2 to 3 types of greeneries. I have some boxwood, some monstera, some palm, and some eucalyptus, and that just creates a beautiful variation of greeneries. So now what I'm going to is I'm gonna bring my little frog, and I'm gonna sit her where she needs to be, so that way I can know where I'm going to put those flowers and the rest of the succulents and things like that. So for that, I have these really pretty succulents, and I'm gonna just pull them all out. And I want it to be a little bit more summery versus springy, because spring's already on the way. So what I'm going to is I'm gonna grab a succulent right there, and then I'm going to do the same with this guy right here. I'm just gonna pull them all apart. And that's the beauty about these good quality items, is like, you know, you get so much bang for your buck. And I'm always telling you guys, good quality beats anything else. So I'm gonna add 2 of those right there. And then what I'm going to is I'm gonna grab some of my flowers. I'm gonna bring my flowers in, and I want them to be all white because I wanna keep it fresh and crisp. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab one of my flowers, and I'm gonna add it right here to create a set of 3. Remember, I like to do sets of 3s, 2s, and 1s. And so I'm gonna grab this other one right here, and I think this one I'm gonna put right here up high, like that. And to bring it down, I'm gonna grab another one of these white flowers, and I'm going to insert, I'm gonna actually cut right here. So that gives us a set of 2. And because it's going to be an all the way around centerpiece, I'm going to do a set of 3 right here on the back. But you know what, this one also I want to kind of do higher, because I want it to be a little bit more, well, I want to say dramatic. I don't know if dramatic is a word, but you know what I mean. And so I had all of these flowers on my flower stash, and the beauty of that is that you don't have to go out and buy some more. But look at that, I just add another one right there, and I'm going to add the 3rd one over here. Yes. So I'm gonna grab a 3rd one, and I'm going to add right here, like this. Look how cute, you guys. She looks like she's sitting on a little forest. I have some of these really long leftover items, so I'm gonna add them right here to kind of encase our little frog, and that's what's gonna give her that wild look. Look how pretty that is. I'm gonna add another one right here. Okay, so here is our centerpiece on our table, and I just love the way she turned out with all of the greenery and the white flowers. It just ties in with the rest of the tablescape. She looks so mischievous here, just waiting for the brunchers to arrive to have brunch with her. And I just want to point out that for my napkin, I did a lime green with white, and then also the lime green goblets for water or mimosa, whatever you're up to. And I just want to mention that if you like this DIY idea, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And I cannot wait to read your comments, so let me comment down below. But I truly believe that this is something that you guys can remake. If you do not have the frog, like I said, you can use a bunny. You can also use a Kindle or any other character. But look how funny and how happy she looks right here. I really hope you enjoyed this DIY idea. Okay everyone, so I thought I'd share with you another tablescape idea using my cute little frogs. And for this one, I did is I filled up all of these bud vases. You know, I've been collecting bud vases for a while with some of the dogwood flowers. These would look really beautiful with fresh flowers. And then also I brought both of the frogs, and I'm gonna go around so you guys can see both of them on both sides. They just look so cute. And I love these little guys. I think this turned out so beautiful and so whimsical, and this is something that you can do for the kids, for your guests. It is so cute. And then I just light some candles, and I love the way this absolutely turned out. What do you guys think? Well, you guys, I had so much fun creating this beautiful centerpiece and then also the tablescape. I really hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you are anything like me, you know that I love to have a cohesive look throughout the home. And when I created that centerpiece, I also created a gorgeous lantern to go with it. So I'm gonna take you back into the studio and I'm gonna share with you how to put a gorgeous spring lantern DIY together for the spring season 2024. But before I do that, I would like if you gave this video a thumbs up because it is free and it really helps this channel. And then also don't forget to follow me on my social media where I'll be doing the live videos this year. And then also we'll have extra content on Facebook and on Instagram. All of those links are down below along with my Etsy shop. All right, let's go back to the studio and create a gorgeous spring DIY for a lantern for your home. Let's take a look. If you've been following this channel for a while, you know that I love to decorate a lantern for spring, summer, fall, and for the holiday season. So in this particular lantern, I'm going to do something beautiful using our little frog that we use for our centerpiece. If you guys have not seen that centerpiece, I'm going to link it down below so you can check it out, and so that way you know how it's created. But for this particular lantern, I went ahead and took the drawer out. I'll show you that I just did the 4 screws on it and I took it off because I wanted to spill forward. So I wanted to be different than anything that we've done before. So that's why I took the drawer out, and we're gonna work in parts. I'm gonna first put together the inside of the lantern, then I'm going to do a little arrangement for the top, and it's going to come on beautifully. For this, we're gonna use our lantern, of course, our frog. I'm gonna use a terracotta pot. As you guys can see, it's very old and patina that I just grabbed from my display. I'm gonna use some reindeer moss. I'm gonna use a little bow that I made with just burlap, which is what we're gonna be using today. Some greeneries like this monstera, some boxwoods, some flowers in white, and some branches that you may have just laying around the house. For this particular DIY, you guys, I want you to go ahead and use what you already have, just so you can see how much you can be creative and what you can come up with things that you already have laying around your house. All right, so I'm going to clear this out. I'm gonna come back with you and give you step number 1. Keep watching. Okay, for our first step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some reindeer moss on the foam that I already went ahead and put on my container, but this is very unsightly. So what I want to do is just put some of this reindeer moss around the perimeter of our terracotta pot. Now, I love terracotta pot for spring and summer because it gives us that garden look that it is so appropriate for this time of the year, right? Can you imagine a tablescape of all terracotta pots with fresh flowers going down the table? It'd be so beautiful. And actually, I just gave myself an idea to do in an upcoming video, so stay tuned for that. I just think the terracotta, like I said, is very springy, summery, and very organic looking. So that's what we're going for this time of the year. You know, Easter just passed, and so what now we need to do is go back to the more natural look of things. So once you have your reindeer moss covering the perimeter of your container, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my frog, and remember our frog from our centerpiece name was Lilith, so we need to come up with a name for this guy right here. Maybe a name for a boy with an L. So Lilith, and leave a comment down below so we can name this frog, you guys. I cannot wait to see what you come up with. So once we know where our frog is going to be, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with some greeneries. So I have some boxwood, and I also have some of these really beautiful monstera leaves that I love because they remind me of lily pads, and you know the frogs sit on lily pads. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the perimeter. Remember, what goes up must come down, and see how about just giving it that little twist, it doesn't sit flat. And then I'm just gonna continue to spin my frog to put this all the way around the perimeter. So remember to just give him a little bit of a twist, and look how that just gives it so much more character. and it helps us to cover the perimeter of our container. Okay, so I'm gonna do the last one right here. And so now I have some of this boxwood. I want it to be very compact because it's going to go inside of our lantern, so there's not very much space. So we have to make sure that we keep it compact with our lantern, so that way we have space for some other items, but it's not too tight in there when we put it in there. All right, so I'm gonna put that right here. And if you do not have a Lazy Susan, and if you are a florist or just an arrange maker, I really do recommend you get one, because it really does allow you to continue to spin that, so you have a better balance in your floral arrangement or centerpiece. All right, so I'm gonna add this cute little reindeer mouse in there. Isn't that cute and adorable? All right, so now what I'm going to do is I have a few of these white flowers that I'm gonna stick out right here. I also have some succulents, and like I said, I wanted to keep it very organic looking, so I don't want to add much to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring out these succulents out, these white flowers, and we'll go from there to see what else we need to add from our basket of all the items I already had laying around the house. All right, so I have white flowers and succulents, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to maybe pull some of this out. Let's see, yeah, you can just pull out these greeneries, and look how pretty this is, you guys, and it has a really good wire. So that's why I'm always telling you the good quality items really are worth your money, because look, you can just pull out, and now all of a sudden you have some beautiful items to use. I'm gonna add that right there, right here. I have some ferns that I'm also wanting to add, like these ones right here. So I'm going to add this guy, maybe right here in the back. I want to start giving him some height, so I'm gonna just go ahead and go right there. Perfect. And now I'm gonna do one over here. So I want him to look like he's sitting on a lily pad or some sort of, you know, like a garden. So I'll go ahead and add this guy right here. Remember, I do want it to spill forward versus like being too wide. I'm gonna add this guy over on this side like that. Isn't that cute? All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, I don't want to use that one because it's wide. I'm gonna cut my succulent, and I'm going to add one right here. Look how cute that is, and that's adorable. And then I'm gonna add a second one. Don't be afraid to cut your florals, you guys, because you can really control your stems if you cut them versus having to like fold and shove it in there. So that's not a good look, I would say. All right, so for this particular one, I'm going to go right here, and see, you have to continue to go all the way around just to see where you should put that. I'm gonna add this guy right about here. Oh, isn't that just amazing? The sound of the foam when you poke it, it is my favorite. So now we have some flowers. Let me see which ones I want to use. I don't want to use a lot of them, but I do want to put some flowers because I want to put some on the top of it as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring one flower right here, going all the way down. Let's see. Once again, I don't want many, but I do want a tall one right here in the back, like this. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to add another one right here because I want a set of three. So a succulent, a flower, and another flower. So I'm going to add this guy right here. Make sure that it goes on the foam and it's really tight. Like that. Isn't that cute? And so now we have one on this side, two on this side. You know what? I'm going to add a third one to make a cluster right here. A bigger cluster, so that's like our front, then one on the back. And then I have these guys right here. These are a hanging wisteria. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the tallest one I have. Let's see. But even the tallest one that I have is not tall enough, which is this one right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out a skewer. Oh, I almost dropped him. I'm going to bring out a skewer. And you know, I've shown you this trick before where I grab a skewer and my stem, and then I grab some of my florist tape, and then I just start covering these two to make one. And you can find this florist tape anywhere where craft supplies are sold, or florist supplies. You can find them at Hobby Lobby. You can find them at Walmart as well. So now I'm gonna bring my frog back. Let's see. And what I want to do is I want to add this flower right here on the top. Because remember, our lantern is really tall. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, isn't that just adorable? And then I feel like it needs another one, but kind of going sideways like this. So what I'm going to is I'm going to grab yet another skewer, and I'm going to tape this guy also. These are all the tricks of the trade that I learned, you guys. I don't know if you know, if you're new to the channel, you probably don't know that I was a florist for almost 15 years. And I really do wish that I knew somebody who was getting married so that I could do the flowers, just to show you guys how to do florals for a wedding. So now I'm gonna do is I'm gonna insert like right here on the side, like this. And the good thing about this is because they're wires, so we can always bend it forward. Look how cute that is. Isn't that adorable? So I'm gonna stop right here. Now I'm gonna bring the lantern, put it inside the lantern so we can work and spilling it forward and then do the top. So I'll be right back with you. Keep watching. All right, so this is what our frog looks like, but now I'm gonna have to move her over here so I can work on the top. And then of course I will give you a close-up of all of it. Oh, I just dropped a flower. So let me disappear because I'm going to need her. And for the top, it's going to be super simple. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna do a swag, and I'm gonna start with some of this greenery that I found at Walmart. And of course I want to make sure that I have it measured so that I know where it's going to spill. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab another one and I'm going to attach like that. Isn't that fun? It just frames the whole frog, and then we'll pull some of them out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab one of these hanging amaranthus. You can find all of this at your local Hobby Lobby. I'm gonna grab one of the same white flowers that I used that I'm gonna attach right here. And since I have some other ones over here, I'm going to grab another one going down. Remember, what goes up must come down. And then I'm gonna grab one of these white flowers and I'm going to insert right here, giving it some air. And so now I'm gonna get a zip tie from my drawer. Remember to have all of your tools at the ready. If you are a florist or an aspiring florist, then you have to have all of your tools at the ready because it makes you faster and it's just more efficient. So now we're gonna pull really tight like that, and with my wire cutters I'm going to cut the excess of it like that. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab this cute burlap bow that I made. And you guys, if you don't know how to make a bow, I have a video on how to make a bow, so I'm gonna link it right here somewhere and also down below so that you can check it out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this guy right here, and I'm gonna grab my wires that I attach with, and I'm going to spin it on the back really tight, really tight. And I'm going to attach right here to the top, going through my lantern like this. And so also what I want to do is I'm going to add this other amaranthus. And the way I like to do this is if you grab a wire, just like one of those little wires that you may have laying around, and then you grab the stem right here. You go up right here on this one and you grab a stem. You just grab your wire basically, and you wire these two together by swirling this wire on both of the stems. And that's going to give you a longer stem, and it'll give the amaranthus a way to hang all the way forward. All right, so now I'm gonna fluff this together, make sure that it looks good. I'm gonna put it inside and show you what it looks like. Keep watching. So here it is, our cute lantern, you guys. How absolutely adorable is this? I love the way this turned out, and I cannot wait to read the comments of the names that we should name him. Remember, it starts with an L because it's Lilith's husband or boyfriend or just partner. But I love the way this looks right here on the server. It really gives it that feel of summer, spring, with a little terracotta pot and all of the flowers hanging out. The top is wild and just a few flowers to kind of tie in with the inside of it, with the frog sitting on a pad of petals and greenery, and it's just so much fun. I really hope that you like it. And the hanging amaranthus on this guy, oh, you might, it's so beautiful. And I cannot wait to read your comments. So leave a comment down below. Let me know, what do you think about this particular DIY, and if something that you're willing to try. And if you want to see more lantern DIY designs, be sure to leave the hashtag lantern in the comment section below so that I know that you are enjoying them. Now, wasn't that gorgeous, you guys? So easy. Creating beautiful DIYs for your home does not have to be complicated. We sometimes tend to overcomplicate these matters, but guess what? All you have to do is create some beautiful DIYs and surround yourself with some beauty in 2024. That really is my wish for everybody this year. Okay, so now I'm gonna share with you how to create a gorgeous, fresh, beautiful, and French-inspired candlestick for your home. Let's take a look. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna also grab my wire cutters and I'm gonna start greening my container. And as I green my container, I just wanna talk to you about what's coming up next on the channel for members only, you guys. We have, like I was telling you, we're working on the Christmas season, and I know it's too early to talk about Christmas because we're just now doing summer, but I do want you to know that this Christmas season we're going to have a session for members only where you guys will get to see the videos first. So that's because it is a benefit for the for you guys that are becoming members to this channel. Just to say thank you, I want to make sure that I have some sort of perk, and for that I wanted to come up with my members only videos before anyone else will get to see them, and then 24 hours later they'll go live for everybody else on the channel so they can see it. So they can see all the DIYs. What we're doing right now is we're greening the container basically, and remember what happens on the left happens on the right, and I'm just cutting some of these clippings. I don't want it to be too over full because I don't want it to really take over, but I do want to cover all of those mechanics. So there's the first one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of this eucalyptus, and remember that what goes up must come down. And it is good to have your candle right here because that allows you to see where on the container you have to put some greenery. And as I told you before many times, when I am doing something like this, I like to add at least 2 to 3 types of greenery because when I was a florist, that was one of the things that I was taught, you know, in order to have a natural looking arrangement, you have to alternate greeneries. It just makes it look more beautiful and it gives it more texture, and that's just the way that we do it on the floral industry. So that's why I always like to add 2 to 3 florals to my arrangement, and also greeneries. And then also when you insert, don't insert flat, but give it a little bit of twist. And what that does is actually extends the greenery and it makes it more prominent, as you guys can see. And I'm just going all the way around, and I'm cutting my eucalyptus in 2 because this eucalyptus is too long. You also have to learn about balance, and the way you balance your greeneries is by not having it extend out too far out, and then also not having it too short. You have to have that perfect balance on your floral arrangements. And if you follow these instructions of what happens on the left happens on the right, I promise you, you can do floral bouquets, you can do Christmas wreaths, you can do your floral arrangements, because it really follows the same techniques of what happens on the left happens on the right, and what goes up must come down. So far this is looking really good, but I feel like I need another one right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this one into 2, and I'm going to add the longest one so it is perfect and balanced. Wouldn't this be really beautiful if you have a tablescape with just 3 of these arrangements going along the table? So pretty. All right, so far this is just our greenery. It's looking really good, and you have that little dish to lift it up, which I'll show you here soon. So now I'm gonna get my florals ready, and I'll be right back with you to give you the next step. All right, so I am back with selection of flowers, and for this occasion, I'm gonna use some beautiful succulents because it's gonna give it that fresh look. I'm gonna use some white peonies and some amazing yellow dahlias that I am just obsessed with. They are so beautiful. So I'm gonna start with the dahlias, and you guys know that I like to cut them all at once because it makes it easier for me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put them right here on the side. This one we need to get the tag off, so I'm just going to basically spin around. You know, I don't know why they put these tags on, but I know they have to find a way to price, but sometimes it makes it so difficult. All right, so I have this gorgeous dahlia. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna give the head a little bit of a vent because no flower really grows like that. So you kind of have to give them that natural look. And I'm gonna start right here. So I'm gonna add one, and this is too long. So I'm gonna cut them a little bit shorter because I want my candle to be that one showpiece. So I'm gonna go like this, and remember what goes up must come down. So now this one I'm going to add right here. And remember, we always like to work in sets of 3s, 2s, and 1s. And in this occasion, I have exactly that. I have 2, then I'm going to do a set of 3, and then I have a 1. So I'm going to do 2, then I'm going to cut another one short, and this is going to be our lonely one, so I'm just going to put it higher. And then I'm going to go over to this side. I'm going to do a cluster of 3, but for this cluster of 3, the more flowers you put on the cluster, the shorter they have to be and closer to the base of the container, because that means that the flowers are really heavy and they don't have the strength to continue to grow. When you are making floral arrangements, you also have to think about how Mother Nature works. If you go out to any botanical gardens or things like that, you'll see that that's how nature grows. So that's 3, 2, and 1. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a few of these white peonies. I'm going to cut them really short. So now, because this one is lonely, we're going to do a set of 2, adding that white flower right here. And then I'm going to grab another one of these peonies, and this is a large one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add it to the set of 2 right here. So I'm going to add this guy right about here. So now we have a set of 3. And then I'm going to add a very lonely one, because remember, now we have a set of 3. So now I need just a 1 over on this side, like that. And so far, that's what it looks like. So now I'm going to bring some of these succulents, and I'm going to do, actually these need to be cut a little shorter because I do want them to be more towards the base. And I'm going to bend the head of the flower up so it can show. So I'm going to add one right there, and then I'm going to add the other one right here with this one, and that's going to give us a set of 2. So it's all about, if you cannot do a set of 2 with this because you don't have enough, then you add another one to add a set of 2. If you don't have enough of this to do a set of 3, then you add another one, and that's just what you continue to do. All right, so our next step is going to be to add some of this beautiful lilac, which is going to be our flyaway. And you guys know that I love my flyaways. It is what gives the arrangement texture, and it just gets a movement as well. So I'm going to add one right here, and I'll continue to add this over here. So I'm going to do a set of 2 like that. Look how pretty that is. And then I'm going to do a set of 3 over on the other side. Super easy, you guys. I'm telling you, if I can do it, so can you. All you have to do is give yourself the chance to give it a try, and you'll be surprised of all of the beautiful things that you can create, because I think we're all creatives. We're sometimes just scared to try. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my lemons, and I'm going to add some lemons, and I already put a skewer on them. And the way you do that is you just basically poke a skewer, because they're made out of styrofoam. And I'm going to add some lemons, and for this, I'm going to add them in sets of 3s, 2s, and 1s as well. So I'm going to add one right here. I'm probably going to add 2 over on this side. Just make sure that your lemon doesn't go through like that. I'm going to add one right here and another one over on this side like that. And then I'm going to add a few over on this side. And what really is going to make this arrangement pop, it's going to be our black and white ribbon. And for that, I have selected this spot right here. I have done a little tail of black and white ribbon. It's like a bow. I'm going to add this guy right here. And then I did a little dovetail, and I'm going to add this guy over on the bottom. Remember, what goes up must come down. And look at that. Isn't that Frenchy and absolutely beautiful? All right, let me put it on the stand, and I'm gonna give you a close-up. All right, so all we have to do is turn our candle on, and this is what our beautiful arrangement centerpiece candlestick summer DIY looks like, and it is super easy. As you guys can see, the lemons and the black and white really gives it that French summer feel. And I'm gonna take this inside, put it on my coffee table, and show you what that looks like over there. Keep watching. Okay, so here is our little lemon centerpiece for our table DIY. And as you guys can see, it really just adds that pop of yellow in the room. And I love the touch of black and white. To me, there's nothing more elegant than the black and white ribbon. And then also the combination of lemons and succulents, you guys. It is perfect for your summer decorating. And that candle really just adds that touch of glow in the room. And I love it. The white peonies are also my favorite because it is a perfect contrast with the dahlias and then also the lilac. So I am in love with this. I cannot wait to read your comments. So leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Have you given this video a thumbs up yet? Well, go ahead and share and do that because it is free and it really helps this channel. And then also don't forget to subscribe. All right, you guys, so now for our last spring 24 DIY, what we're going to do is we're gonna create a beautiful arrangement that is so feminine, so beautiful, and super easy to make. I'm making an emphasis and easy to make because my intention for 2024 is to share with you guys all of these DIYs for your home, but also let you know that you can do it. If I can, so can you, and I'm going to make it as simple as possible, giving you the instructions, the steps, the tricks, and the tips so that you too can have a beautiful home. All right, let's take a look. All right, everyone, so for this beautiful centerpiece DIY, I'm going to use this gorgeous container that is made out of crystal, and I just am so in love with it, and I love using it with fresh flowers, silk flowers in this case, and I'm gonna share with you step by step. Also, I'm gonna use some of this green moss that you know I love from Walmart. I'm gonna use my trusty scissors, some florist tape, and you can find this florist tape at your local Hobby Lobby. I'm gonna use a variety of greeneries like some boxwood. I'm gonna use some eucalyptus, some palm, and then also some monstera that we've been using lately because I'm obsessed with it. I'm gonna use a selection of flowers, and for our filler flowers, we're gonna use some lavender and as well as some lilac. And you guys know also that I use this lilac all the time, so I'll always like to have it in hand because it is my favorite way to give my centerpieces some air. I'm gonna use a selection of ranunculus, garden roses. I'm gonna use some beautiful cabbage roses, and then as well as some other peonies and such. All right, so let me clear the table real quick and I'll be right back to give you step number one. Keep watching. Okay, for our first step, what we're going to do is we're gonna get our container prepped and greened. And so what we're going to do is I'm gonna open up some of this moss. You can find this at your local Walmart store, and it is super, super affordable. For this occasion, I need a lot of it because I don't want to be able to see my foam. So what you do is you do a nest like this. Basically just create a nest for your foam. I'm gonna insert this one so that way it raises it up because I have to make sure that I am not seeing that foam on my container. Then on top of that, I'm gonna add this right here, and what that's gonna do is gonna give us some height. So now that you have your green moss, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my florist tape, and this florist tape is a see-through florist tape, and you can find this, like I said, at any craft store. Hobby Lobby has them. That's where I got mine. And what I like about this tape is because it's water resistant. So if you're using fresh flowers for your floral arrangement, your tape is going to stick and is going to stay in place. It is super tacky, and I just love this tape. A tip right here, once you're done, just go ahead and fold the tip. That way you don't lose your tip of your tape. You're not looking for it. If that's ever happened to you, you know what I'm talking about. All right, so now that we have our foam like this, as you guys can see, it will hold the weight if I lift it up. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna clear real quick, and I'm gonna bring my greeneries to share with you the next step. Okay, so for our next step, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna green my foam, and in order to do that, I'm gonna separate all of my greeneries by kind. So I'm gonna put my monstera, my palm, all of my eucalyptus, and my boxwood all separate because I like to insert one particular greenery at a time. If you've been watching the channel for a long time, you know that what happens on the left happens on the right. So basically I'm gonna add those two right here, and then what goes up must come down. So I'm gonna start adding up on the top right here. I'm gonna swirl this around, and that's why a lazy Susan really does come in handy because it allows you to balance your container. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. So I'm gonna do a monstera over on this side. I'm gonna give him a little bit of a twist so it has a little bit more texture. I'm gonna spin my container around, and then I'm going to add one right here, and then one on this side over on this foam. So like that, and as you guys can see, it's shaping up, it's taking shape. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add some of this boxwood. I'm gonna start adding some to the top. So I'm gonna add two to the top, then I'm gonna spin around, and I'm gonna come to the corners on the bottom, and I'm gonna fill in this right here. Then immediately I'm going to swap to the other side, and I'm going to add the other one right here. And so now I'm going to repeat what I just did with this boxwood. I'm going to repeat now with my eucalyptus. I'm gonna spin around, so I'm gonna add 2 to the top, and then I'm going to do the opposite corners of the boxwood. So I have the boxwoods right here, so now I'm gonna do the other 2 corners, and that's why it's so important to work in even numbers, 2, 4s, 6 when you're greening, and uneven numbers when you're doing florals. So this is what our greenery looks like so far. I'm gonna bring out all of my flowers and I'll give you the next step. Okay, so now that I have all of my florals right here, I'm gonna start with the bigger blooms, and I have all of these bigger flowers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select by pairs. So I'm gonna have 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these, and 1 of these. So I'm gonna start with this bigger bloom, which is going to be this cabbage rose. And I'm gonna put one, remember what happens on the left happens on the right, so I'm going to go immediately over to this side. And I just love the sound of foam being poked with these florals because it means something beautiful is happening. Look at that. So now I'm going to go over to the opposite side like this. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these little roses with a longer stem to kind of elongate the shape of my floral. So what happens on the right, immediately we're going to go to the left right here. And so this is what the big florals look like. I always like to add the bigger florals first. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the smaller flowers, and for that I'm going to use some of these beautiful garden roses and ranunculus. And I'm just going to start by grabbing one and putting right here on the top. And then immediately I'm going to go down. Remember, what goes up must come down. So this one right here kind of gives me a point where to start. So I started right here, and then I'm going to go down. And see how this forms the triangle I'm always telling you guys about. And so that's what you want to do with the whole floral arrangement. So now I'm gonna create another triangle by adding this guy right here. So this just created another triangle with the one on the top. And this is going to be our last triangle right here. As you guys can see, it creates that triangle. So if you keep that in mind, you're always going to have a beautifully balanced arrangement. So now I'm gonna add a few of these ranunculus to the top to kind of give it a little bit more height, and just making sure that goes all the way down like this. And I'm gonna put another one right here. See, and those just kind of bring the flowers up a little bit more. I'm gonna add this last one over on this side. All right, so far so good, but this is when it's really going to take shape, and we're going to do our flyaways. If you've been following the channel, you know that I always like to do a floral like this that has a little bit more air and movement, and leave that at the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab one right here. I'm gonna poke down a little bit, and remember to always do 2 kind of like this so that we can start doing the triangles going down. So I'm gonna grab all my florals, and so now I'm gonna remember what goes up must come down. So I'm gonna add this guy right here. Then I'm gonna spin it around a little bit, and then what goes up must come down, and this is what's shaping our triangles for our florals, and that's what's going to give us all of the balance that we need. So I'm gonna add this guy right here. And what goes up, we already put the first up. So now we need to go down, all the way down on every single one, going around the centerpiece, and it's starting to take shape. Don't be afraid, you guys, to create your own beautiful centerpieces for your home, for your baby showers, for your weddings. If you have any family members, just offer up to do the one that does the flowers, and just practice, practice, practice. That's what makes, I don't say perfection, because perfection doesn't exist, but practice makes progress. All right, so then to finish it, I'm gonna add this beautiful lavender. And I don't know if you can hear those birds chirping, but they're just making my day. I think they are here to stay for a while, and that makes me so happy. All right, so now with this particular one, that's what's gonna give us also some filler. And for that, I'm gonna use the lavender, and I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna add one to the top, and so now I'm gonna start going around like this, adding some texture to my arrangement, just basically filling in. This is a filler, so you're gonna spin around and see where do you need some filler items, and you're gonna poke your flower in. So that's what this looks like. I'm going to grab my moss, and I'm going to kind of look for places like this right here, and I'm gonna grab a clump of moss and insert it. But this is ready, so I'm gonna take it inside and share with you how to create a beautiful tablescape. So keep watching. Okay, everybody, so here is our table all decked out. Isn't this just absolutely gorgeous? And I just want to go through some of the details, and I want to start by mentioning the candles. Aren't those just absolutely beautiful? They are from Hobby Lobby, as you guys saw in the video, and I love the way they go with the floral arrangement and of course with the plates. I love the way this floral arrangement turned out. It is something super easy to make that I promise you, you can do it too. Just give it a try, get yourself some florals and practice. And if I can do it, let me tell you, so can you. Let's talk for a second about the source of inspiration for the whole tablescape, which is this magnolia print dish that was found at a local thrift store. And isn't that just absolutely stunning? I love the gold rim on it. I love the way they place so well with the napkin and with the knife and the spoon. It just pulls the gold and the floral from it all the way to the arrangement. Now I also want to bring out the fact that the stemware matches perfectly to the floral arrangement with the lavender tones and the pink and the just the absolutely beauty of the arrangement and the plate. And I want to bring out also this little dish right here. It's a butter dish and it has another rose pattern to it, so it just plays with the floral theme of this particular centerpiece. And let's talk about the candles again. I just love the way they look. They are so beautiful and it just wells with everything else, you guys. I love the way this looks. It's super elegant, a little bit feminine. It is perfect for when my mom and my grandma come for dinner, and I cannot wait for them to see it. Be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know what is your favorite thing about this whole process. And if this is something that you like to do around the house for your family and friends, I cannot wait to hear from you. So be sure to leave me a comment down below. Well, that's all I have for today. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me tell you, I had so much fun revisiting all of these DIYs. And just so you know, we will have a brand new video every Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on my YouTube channel. And then also there's going to be daily contents on Instagram and on Facebook. So be sure you follow that. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out this one right here where I share with you, actually it's gonna be right here, where I share with you some other DIYs for Valentine's. It is already coming up. Thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and as always, you can watch more videos right now. Bye.